You're listening to The Bird Bath. Welcome back to The Bird Bath. Each week we scrape the surface of the news you need to know, so let's get into it. For the 100th time, that's right, we are celebrating our 100th episode this week. And the crazy thing about that is 100 weeks back to back to back to back to back, 100 times over, bringing you all the top stories in veterinary medicine. It has been an absolutely incredible journey so far, and something that I look forward to being able to do for a very long time. This week's episode, we've got our normal news stories, but at the end of it, if you want to stick around, I wanted to give everyone maybe a little glimpse behind the mic of how we got here and what the last 100 episodes have really meant to me and where we're growing from here. So be sure to stay tuned to the end of the episode if you want to dig more into it. But for now, let's get into it. Kicking us off this week are some big stories around veterinary diagnostics. They're having a big moment. Two of the biggest players in the space, Zoetis and IDEXX, just rolled out upgrades to showcase how fast AI and chemistry analyzers are transforming the practice and clinical care that all of us are seeing. First off, Zoetis Images now gets a cytology superpower. Zoetis has officially launched AI Masses, which is the latest evolution of its VetScan Images platform. The new capability allows vets to analyze skin and subcutaneous lesions on site using AI-powered cytology. Within minutes, the system can flag whether a mass is likely benign or suspicious, setting it up to cut down on wait times, reducing your send-outs, and helping make vets quicker decisions about what's happening next. The tool is pretty cool. It's obviously something that cytology is harder to use in clinic. It's underutilized in a lot of general practices due to the amount of time it takes and the difficulty of getting those interpretations back. The AI Masses component that the VetScan Images is offering now is able to really back this up and really make it happen quickly. They've automated the reads and they're building a telecytology backup from board-certified pathologists. So really, really cool things on the Zoetis side of things. Now in the IDEXX house, the IDEXX Catalyst is expanding for the third time in just a year. They've just announced that the Catalyst 1 and Catalyst diagnostic analyzers are focusing on endocrine testing, specifically on adrenal function. So the new cortisol test lets vets run ACTH simulation tests in-house with results in under 15 minutes. So dogs that have a suspected Cushing's or Addison's disease, they can actually get diagnosis during the same visit. No worries now about sending it out, second appointments, delays in treatment. And the idea here is that utilizing IDEXX's Vet Connect Plus software, the trends and the overall interpretations are just a click away in the system. So it's pretty cool to see how quickly things are adapting and growing in the world of diagnostics. It's, a lot of times when we talk about the speed at which things are happening in technology, we're talking about SaaS and softwares and things like that. But we're now seeing that speed of development being able to be brought to technical chemistries and technical systems inside of the clinic as well. These sort of updates are kind of pointing to that continued speed at which things are growing. Zoetis, they're growing and tackling their interpretations of bottlenecks by using AI and remote pathology. And IDEXX, in turn, is really reducing the turnaround time for work that needs to be done and the ability to treat right at point of care. Really cool things to be able to see, and I look forward to seeing what else comes down the pipeline from both of these companies. Some other companies that are growing and rebranding in the veterinary consolidation landscape are Pieper Veterinary and AcutePet Urgent Care. First off, Pieper Veterinary has now rebranded as COVE Animal. After nearly 90 years in business as Pieper Veterinary, there's a new name on the block. The CEO for the former Pieper Veterinary brands, Tessa Olson, says that COVE, which stands for Community of Veterinary Entrepreneurs, brings together primary care, emergency, and specialty teams to create regional hospital systems. I'm going to hit on that a little bit more in a second here, but it's pretty neat to see the size that they've grown to thus far. After starting with a family-owned business that, facilitated their original Pieper practices, COVE has now grown to include more than 15 hospitals and 130 veterinarians. The differentiator and sort of the idea, I had a chance to sit down with Ben Olson, the chief medical officer and family member in the Pieper world there, and he helped explain some of the sort of idea of what they're seeing here. So COVE really set themselves up to be different. They're veterinarian-led, and they make sure that the practices have veterinarians leading the decision-making in clinic. They've also implemented a hub and spoke care model. So that's where that COVE comes together, right? Community of veterinary entrepreneurs. The idea there is that the primary care, urgent care, ER, and specialty can all work together to do load management and be able to keep things pushing in the same direction. They have a shared PIMS system as well as a shared PAC system so that they can streamline the referrals and collaboration so that patients are able to receive care as quickly as possible wherever they're available. And they've really tried to set these up into strong regional teams that have their own unique identifying name so that people in the local community still feel that same local pull. Now, they are backed by a large PE firm, Chicago Pacific Founder, which is hopefully going to be a big part of their continued growth in the future. And Chicago Pacific Founder is not new to the veterinary space. They're also backers of Sage out in California. AcutePet Urgent Care also made some big announcements. They're announcing their 1-year anniversary. So happy first birthday to the team at AcutePet. They've grown to 5 de novo urgent care clinics in their first year, and they're setting their sights to grow to many, many more. They've set themselves up to have affordable, accessible, emergency level care without ER chaos. That's sort of their target there. With opening hours from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., they're open 7 days a week and set up to handle walk-ins. So looking forward to see a ton more growth from the new COVE group as well as AcutePet. So congratulations to both these companies on their continued growth and success. If it sounds like we're seeing a lot of growth, well, that's because it seems like the market is really taking a positive turn on the expansion of veterinary clinics. For example, TerraVet REIT, which many of you are familiar with TerraVet both as a landlord and a REIT business or a real estate investment trust, has just secured $35 million of additional investment in their REIT. They received some of that additional money from Sculptor Diversified REIT, which is an affiliate of Sculptor Capital Management, which has over $35 billion under asset. So probably not their largest investment, but still a pretty great one for us to see in the veterinary space. So TerraVet's REIT has 65,000 square feet under management in that portfolio. And across both their funds and their REIT entities, TerraVet owns more than 150 properties and more than 1.5 million square feet of real estate across more than 35 states. Whenever someone says more than 35 states, I always think it's 36. But let's see. So it's pretty neat to see here. They've said that they've seen a lot of interest and activity in the movement of veterinary real estate markets. They've seen a lot of people wanting to invest in those dedicated facilities. And it's something that I don't think we're going to see slowing down anytime soon. We're seeing the increased costs of care, but we're also seeing that there's like we saw in the previous two stories, people are opening new clinics, expanding their footprint, and they need places to put these practices. REITs are a really interesting opportunity for people that want to continue to stay invested in the real estate, but not be as tied to that independent or single location. So great news for TerraVet as well as their new partner Sculptor Capital Management. And I look forward, again, I feel like a broken record here, but to seeing continued growth across the board. Now, one thing that's maybe pulling back, but an interesting one, across the pond, our friends at the British Small Animal Veterinary Association, the BSAVA, have announced that they have decided to retire their annual Congress in order to focus on new initiatives that they believe will better serve their members. So the BSAVA annually for the past 68 years has had their annual Congress where they bring together everyone, make the decisions, work on things, and hold sort of that conference type Congress. But their president, Julian Hode, says the BSAVA needs to adapt as the landscape changes and as the profession continues to innovate and grow. We've conducted extensive research with our members on their education and development needs and the future requirements of the wider profession. It's clear that we need to adapt to offer more agile solutions, which will bring huge benefits to vets and veterinary nurses. With that in mind, the BSAVA has decided that it's time to retire Congress, which is what I wish we could do in the US. We believe we will deliver better value to our members by pursuing new opportunities and developing more versatile product innovations. As an organization, we're extremely proud of the legacy Congress leaves behind. It's been a cherished and valuable event for the profession over the last 68 years, and we want to thank all those who've been part of that legacy. It's a long quote, but you know what? If you do something consistently for 68 years, I'm going to read your full quote. Kind of an interesting story, though, and the reason I wanted to hit on it, not just because I don't want you to mark it for your calendar next year, but is I think it's kind of interesting to see the adaptation of these in-person events. We're seeing just the continuous year after year VMX and WVC continuing to get bigger and bigger and bigger and pushing for more and more people. We saw WVC add Viticus Group and WVC add that second location now to Nashville. Later this next month, I'll be traveling up to Washington, D.C. to go to the AVMA conference. And there's a lot of events that are happening. And it's interesting to see a organization taking a step back, and I love the word retiring their Congress. Interesting because I think when COVID happened, we saw people go, oh my gosh, how are we going to make these meetings happen? I work remotely. I think it's something that I enjoy that time being with my colleagues and getting to see everyone. But it's also really interesting to think, when is that convention or that Congress serving the needs of its members? And when is it serving outside needs or just happening because it's happened for the past 68 years? So big kudos. It's tough to say goodbye to something. And so it's really impressive when someone can do it with the consideration of the class that the BSAVA has done here. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do to fulfill the needs of their members and go forward there. Now, as always, I hit you guys with the same tagline for the past 100 episodes, and I'm going to give it to you. But I also am going to come back here after that and make sure that we talk a little bit about what the last 100 episodes are. So if you want to hear more on these and other stories, you can join us by subscribing to our Substack. There's a link in the bio. And don't miss out on any episodes by subscribing and rating the show. Now, if you want to know what the last 99 previous episodes have been like and why I do this show, hang out. I'm going to do a couple extra minutes here, but I always try to keep my promise to give you guys 15 minutes or less of all the top stories. But the last 100 episodes have been wild. I launched this show alongside some incredible people with Intelligence and the Fountain Report. And if it wasn't for Chris Kelly and Candace Goodwin being open to the idea of trying to expand some footprint and reach out to different people, the show wouldn't have kicked off in the way that it did. So big thank you to them for helping me get the show started. And for the first few months that we launched this show together, that was an incredible time. After almost a year together, we decided that the bird bath was ready to fly out the coop and gain its own wings. And that was when we launched our Substack, bringing you guys another version of the news, those deeper stories than what we're able to cover here. And thousands of you subscribe to that. And it's something that I really love producing. It's this additional output that we're able to find time with. Additionally, one more thank you that I have to make sure I put out here before I talk about one other thing, but I'd be remiss if I didn't take a second as well to thank the people that help edit and produce the show. They're the ones editing this right now, so you get the first-hand thank you. But Bogdan, Hannah, Galena for the support, everyone at Full Slice Agency for all of the work that you guys do on the back end to make sure that the show can continue to be so successful. But one thing that is a question a lot of people ask me, they listen to the show, but they go, Ryan, what do you actually do for work? And I thought maybe, you know what, 100th episode might be an interesting one to put it out there. So for the past year plus, I have been working on my own consulting business. So I have my own consulting business called First 100. My goal is exclusively to work with companies in the veterinary landscape. I work with businesses primarily that sell into veterinary clinics or work with large-scale consolidators. And I try to take the news, the insights, the stories, the things that get me excited about the bird bath and bring those to my clients. I've had an incredible opportunity to work with some really wonderful technology startups, with some consolidation groups, with some manufacturers, some hardware companies, some pharmaceutical companies, diagnostic businesses, mentorship businesses, training, leadership, all types of different opportunities there, as well as go and do speaking events across the country. So when you wonder, Ryan, you just sit here and talk on a microphone all day. Well, I wish that was all that I did, but I absolutely love having the opportunity to do this consulting. It's something that's been kind of a job that I think I've been pushing myself into for the past decade. And it's one that for the past 8 years in the veterinary world, I have been so happy to be able to think outside the box with some incredible companies. And really now I'm able to embrace that. So I guess my call to action here is, if you're looking to expand the footprint of what your business is doing in the veterinary space, or if you want to know what's going on behind the scenes and really tackle what's going on in the vet space, be sure to reach out. I'm always happy to talk with people, whether it's about a story you heard here on the show or things that you want to achieve for your business in the long run. Again, I'm excited to be a part of this. I absolutely love working in the veterinary industry and in the animal health space. It is the pleasure of my life to do these things. And so to all of you that have been with me, if you've been with me since episode 1, or if this is your first episode listening, thank you so much. I look forward to hundreds and thousands and more of these episodes and cannot wait to continue doing this. So thank you to everyone for listening. And for the Bird Bath, I'm Ryan Leach. I'll see you next week.